The dumbest, the most ignorant thing to do is trying to meet somebody and experience chemistry in the first moment, and then when it doesn't happen, you say, well, nah, you're a good man, you're a good woman, you seem so kind, you have a nice smile, but I didn't have the chemistry. That is the dumbest thing that one could ever do. So welcome back to Conscious Reality. Listen, I want you to join me in a conversation that I had yesterday where I spoke on relationships, chemistry, attraction, and a whole bunch of other stuff, alright? If you are one person that's trying to fix your relationship, start a new relationship, trying to find love, stay tuned. This is for you. Alright, thank you for watching. When it comes to relationships, dating, friendships, when you are not appreciated and you are not loved, it doesn't mean to try harder. I think many of us getting this wrong. When we are not appreciated, when we are, when we are being ignored, when we are being, when you're taken for granted, it doesn't mean to try harder. Many of you are doing the opposite. You are trying harder when somebody don't really appreciate you. You are trying harder when somebody don't really love you. You are trying harder. You are trying to make up for them, for their lack of understanding, for their lack of being a good human, right? Being not appreciated does not mean to try harder. When you see that you are doing your best, when you see that you are giving your best, and you will never be, no matter how much you do, if somebody doesn't want you, they will never appreciate what you do. It will never be enough. What you do will never be enough for the person who doesn't want you. So I'm saying this: when you are not being appreciated, and when you are not being treated good, it doesn't mean to try harder. It means to stop. It means to pull over. It means to take a break. It means to remove yourself. Because I'm telling you, some of us are with some people who are never internally satisfied. They are never internally satisfied. And you cannot fill, or you can't quench somebody's thirst who is internally dissatisfied. You really can't. You cannot complete nobody. You can't give nobody all their desires. You can't give nobody all their needs. And I think a lot of people, a lot of you single people is expecting somebody to fill all your needs. Your needs are not filled by people. Your needs is an internal thing that you have to complete on your own. People is an addition. Relationships is extra. I think a lot of us are empty. A lot of us are dried up. That sounds bad, don't it? A lot of us ain't got nothing in ourselves to give to ourselves. And we look for that from people. So we try to pull everything that we can possibly pull from our partners. And we overwhelm them. We get them tired. We get them drained. We get them, they don't want to do it no more. We have to understand, man. We have to understand that many of you have to be fulfilled on the inside first. You have to be fulfilled. Many of us ain't fulfilled. Many of us ain't fulfilled. But I'm telling you this, man. When you are not appreciated and when you are taken for granted, it doesn't mean that you try harder. You are in a rat race and you will never win. Many of you keep losing yourself for trying harder. The more harder you try, is the more you lose yourself, because it's the more you dishonor yourself. You disgrace yourself. It doesn't mean to try harder. It means to stop. It means that you cannot give, or you cannot fill a bucket with a hole. You cannot fill up a bucket that has a big hole in it. Many of you, the partners that we choose has a big hole in it. And no matter what you give them, no matter how much you do for them, no matter how much you try to do for them, it's going to be empty. And here you are just giving, trying harder, and you are drained. You run out. You are running out of your own substance. So I'm telling you all, man, you got to be careful. You got to be careful when it comes to this stuff. I'm telling you, many of us only want to be stimulated by everyone else. We cannot stimulate ourselves. And when you can't stimulate your own self, you put yourself out there at a big risk. This is why stimulation has to be an internal thing. Many of us can only be stimulated on the outside. And when you are only stimulated from the outside, you're going to give up on good people. You're going to let good people come and go. You're going to let good people pass on you. You're going to let good people go away because they're not able to stimulate you in a way that you expect, that you can't even do for yourself. Many of us, man, I'm telling you, many of us, we don't stimulate ourselves. And that's because we can't. We got too much shit in our minds. We got too much shit in our feelings. We got too much stuff in our insecurities and our, we got too much stuff going on. So we lack stimulation in ourselves. We can't be still. We can't stimulate. We can't be happy. We can't be peaceful. And therefore, no matter who comes, it takes a narcissist to stimulate you. It takes an overactive person to stimulate you. And this is why many of us attract narcissists. Many of us attract that person. Many of us attract toxic person because that's the only people that can stimulate you. Because you cannot stimulate yourself. When you can stimulate yourself, you don't need that much stimulation from the outside. You don't need somebody to do this and do that and say this and say that. You can actually stimulate from the inside. When you can do that, it's a blessing. When you can do that, it's a blessing. When you can do that, you can rest. When you can do that, you take off all that extra need of the outside world, of your partner. Many of us need our partners to do so much, man. I've been watching these YouTube videos and these social media videos. If he ain't doing this and that, I don't want him. If she ain't doing this and this. Some of us have been overstimulated when it comes to sexual experiences that nobody can even have regular sex anymore. These days, nobody could even have regular, what do you call it? Intercourse. You all need that soul snatching intercourse now. You need that choke you intercourse. Like you gotta have somebody doing all pounding you on your head, Donkey Konging you and stuff just to please. And that's just a lot. That's a lot. And it don't take that much. What stimulates you is the love on the inside, man. The respect on the inside. The peace on the inside. Many of us are going for the wrong things, man. And this is why we cannot find what we are looking for. Many of us are going for too much. Listen, I will tell you if you want to find stimulation, when you want to calm that stimulation down, you have to learn to be still. You gotta learn to be still. If we can't be still, we are always out there trying to be moving. We have to learn to be still. Many of us, somebody gotta be able to stimulate, many of us gotta, somebody gotta be able to stimulate that shit in your mind to make it feel good. And you know how stupid that is? To expect somebody to come and stimulate that shit in your mind so that you can feel good. All the shit that you place in your mind, the things that you have experienced, the things that you have seen, touched, smelled. You expect somebody to come there and stimulate that shit in your head to make you feel good. Because you can't do it. You don't know how to do it. All those things, all those experiences, all the pornographies that you watch and the horror movies, the scary movies, the murder movies, the action movies, all the music, the hip hop and the this and that music, and all the past experiences, all your past ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, all the things that you have done, all the foods, you have a storage in your mind. Based on that, you've seen so much, you've done so much, so everything is stored in your mind. And you want somebody to come and stimulate that. You want somebody to come and stir it up so that it feels good and sounds good to you. And that's you crazy. And then we have women and men, especially women, going out there on social media. You gotta be able to stimulate my mind. Ma'am, that is your mind. You gotta be able to stimulate your shit. This is my mind. I have to be able to stimulate my shit so that I don't depend on anybody to. If I can stimulate you, I can break you too. Don't get it twisted. If you give somebody the power of your love, they can take it too. If you give somebody the power to stimulate you, they can break you and leave you right there. See, many of us become so attached to that one person that can stimulate that shit in your mind that you can't leave when it's time to leave. You can't break away because you are addicted to the stimulation. It becomes a drug. If you don't know how to stimulate yourself, you're going to always find suffering. This is your life. This is your mind. It's your memories. It is your emotions. If you cannot stimulate it, how can I do it for you? So many of us have that false narrative, man. And you know, this is why I'm not the regular dating coach people. I ain't that shit. I ain't one of these dating coaches and here be telling you find this, find that. I am a man that says you got to be able to stimulate your own damn self. You got to be able to sit still and find stimulation in that stillness. But you got to do it over and over and over. Because the first time you sit still, you're not going to be stimulated. The second time you sit still, you're not going to be stimulated. The first month, you're not going to be stimulated. But after a while, when you learn the power of your silence, when you can put your own stimulation in your mind, your own thoughts in your mind, and your own feelings in your body from a standstill position, you're going to always be powerful. But everybody want to depend on the next person to stimulate that shit in your head, and it doesn't work. People, you have to learn self-stimulation. It feels good. I don't know why we depend on people. You know, that's like me saying, I need a woman to bring me peace. I need a woman to stimulate my mind. I need a woman. No, I don't need her for that. See, when you need somebody for that, you drain them. Everything that they say or do, they have to be able to stimulate you. That is not nobody's job. That is not no one's duty. If you have been with yourself for 45 years, and you have been with yourself for 45 years, and you don't know how to stimulate all that shit in your mind to make it feel good and sound good to you, facts, peace come from within. Oh, it doesn't make me happy. I heard somebody said, when you talk about money don't make you happy. It's not supposed to make you happy. What do you mean? It's supposed to make you buy things, not to make you happy. You know, when you hear somebody talking about food, you don't say food don't make you happy. Why do we always have money? And now relationships. We are looking for a relationship to find happiness. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not to find happiness. It's a tool. It's a tool to make life becomes easier. But many of us don't know how to use that tool because we want relationship to make us happy. Is that shit that's supposed to make you happy? Just like money, just like food. It's not supposed to make you happy. You're supposed to be happy first, but many of us, again, we don't know how to use our own selves because we didn't come with a instruction manual. We came with parents telling us a whole bunch of crap. We came with social media. We came, you know, some of us were born in the social media era. Praise God, I wasn't. You know, we come with a whole bunch of people, a bunch of preachers and pastors and evangelists telling us a whole bunch of crap. And now we here living a life that we don't even like. It ain't pleasing to you. You just come here to waste your time. We come on earth to waste our time looking for the perfect people, the perfect relationships, because you're looking for happiness. That's not what happiness is about, man. I don't know what we're doing. All I'm saying is this. When I learn to stimulate my own mind, my own body, my own thoughts and my own emotion, I don't have to depend on a woman to do that. She can rest peacefully. She can be what she want to be, do what she want to do. I'm telling you, man, my stimulation don't come from women. I mean, certain parts. But it's not, I don't expect her to be anything. She don't got to be like this, speak like this, do like that. I'm telling you all, man, you have to find your own self. You have to go inside of your own mind. And I'm telling you, it makes relationships a lot easier. It makes being with somebody that much easier. Many of us are looking for all these things. We're looking for education. Well, he got to be educated. She got to be educated. Why? Education don't define relationships. Matter of fact, the more educated you are, is the more harder it is to have a relationship. Your thinking is intellect. The way how you think, you're trying to understand certain things. But education don't teach you anything about the other dimension. Relationships is of a higher dimension because it's dealing with love. It's dealing with a whole bunch of emotions, and you can't explain those things. We have all this stuff that he has to or she has to have this, she have to have that, he has to have this. You're wasting your damn time. Back in the days, that wasn't happening. Back in the days, that wasn't a thing. It's a thing now because we have time to waste. And many of us, we are wasting so much time now in our youth when our bodies are the best that is going to ever be. right? When our skin is clean, when we're not sick, we are healthy, we're wasting all this time until we get sick, until you gain 600 pounds to try to find a relationship, because now you realize that, hey, damn, time is running out. This is the best. I'm telling you, many of us are waiting until we get sick. I'm telling you, manipulation. Listen, we have to learn. We have to learn to stimulate our own self, our own bodies, our own minds. We have to learn to stimulate what we are. I'm telling you, our minds are the biggest trouble. You know, if you think that, especially when the last person did this, the last person cheated, the last person lied, the last person did this, now your mind is completely closed. Everybody's going to do it. Everybody's going to cheat. Everybody's going to lie. All men this, all men that, all women this, all women want money, all women want this, all women cheat. That's stimulation. That is your mind. And your mind is why you suffer. Your mind. You have to get over that shit in your mind. But how do you get over it? You have to get over that shit in your mind. You know, this is why the Bible says, right? Think about the things that's lovely. Think about the things that's good. The things that's of good report. It's not, you are thinking about the shit that you don't like, shit that you don't want, people that you don't understand, people that you don't respect, and yet we still don't get it. This is why we feel this way, because we think this way. Our thoughts, you see all these emotions that we be having, what do you think is coming from? Your own shitty ass thoughts. Again, listen. I'm a coach. I do relationships. I do a whole bunch of coaching, a whole bunch of one-on-ones. I am not the type of coach that can tell you a whole bunch of shit about men and women. I clear paths. I clear stuck energy. I clear stagnant shit that you've been carrying for years and years and years. We remove those things so that we can see clearer. It's not about me. See, my dating coaching is not about me coming on here talking shit about men or women and saying this and the obvious stuff. You know, saying the obvious stuff that I see off of Pinterest, and I see a nice quote and I repeat it. My shit is coming on here telling you, listen, we're doing it wrong. Learn to stimulate your own mind. I listen to a lot of videos on social media. I listen to so many videos on social media. And I think we expect so much from people. We expect so much from people. We expect so much from people. And therefore, everybody always disappointed. That's why we are always disappointed. That's why we are always hurt. Everything hurts us. We are the one people that is the most easiest to hurt. I don't understand why we hurt. Everybody say they need healing. Why? Because you're disappointed. Everybody need healing. And they confuse healing with just accepting. Some of us don't need healing. We need to accept what happened. I need healing. No, you need to accept that that person don't want you. It's not healing that you want. It's acceptance. Many of us only needs acceptance, not healing. This is why many of us, we stuck in this last relationship. We can't pass it. We're waiting for closure. I don't think relationships are crazy. I think people. Because who makes relationship? The people. And if the people is crazy, what else can you have? You know what I'm saying? If the people is crazy, that's all you can have is crazy relationships. It's people expecting too much. Because people don't complete themselves on the inside. I know I had to learn this years ago. Kirk built you on the inside. Start reading books. Start practicing being silent. Start practicing how to deal with my own thoughts. Start practicing how to deal with my own emotions and my feelings. And when I begin to practice how to deal with those things, man, I don't need you to do that for me no more. I'm good. No, you good. Go, do what you focus on your life, focus on your growth. See, the thing is, when I learn to do that, I can allow my woman to be her greatest version. Whether she's successful, whether she wants to do this and do that and do this and do that, she's perfectly fine. I don't need her always around me trying to stimulate, making me feel, you're stroking my ego. I don't need all this stuff no more. I don't need all that stuff anymore. Now, since we lack so much of our own selves, I need her to do this, and she needs to do this, and she needs to do that. Stimulate yourself. Let your partner grow. You know, one of the things, right? Things that I hear a lot of people say after relationships. Well, you know, one of the big things that I heard people say after relationships is after the relationship, you know, they went back to school and they start going to the gym and they start taking care of themselves and they start doing self-love. Why did you stop doing those things? Why did you stop doing those things in the first place? Why do we stop taking care of ourselves in relationships? See, relationships don't require you to stop taking care of yourself. It actually requires you to take care of yourself even more. I don't know. So we have this narrative. We have this stupid narrative that when you're in a relationship, you're not free. Somebody said, I like my freedom. Why ain't you free? Who's stopping you from doing what you want to do? It's because, again, people don't stimulate themselves. They expect stimulation to come from their partner. If you see, stimulation don't come from a partner. This is your job. This is your responsibility. So I hear a lot of people after this relationship, I have to start going back to school. Because you are in a ridiculous relationship. Yeah, we know the relationship ain't good when it's preventing you from doing what you need to evolve. We know relationships are unhealthy when it's preventing us from doing the things that we need to do. A lot of us are being distracted from all the stimulation. We are being distracted. This is why I don't want to be stimulated by nobody. I don't want to be stimulated. I don't want nobody because I want to be focused on what I'm doing. Seriously, I want to be focused on, I want to keep evolving. Many of us cannot evolve because we are only being stimulated. I'm telling you. We are only being stimulated. So we're looking for stimulation all day, every night. Stimulated, stimulate my body, stimulate my mind, my feelings. And many of us come to this shit with all these feelings. We're coming in here looking for feelings. You don't make me feel, you make me feel, you don't make me feel. What's up with all these feelings there? You gotta stimulate your own feeling. Listen, if you know something makes sense, apply the feeling that matches it. If you know this relationship makes sense, apply the feeling that matches it. Why we can't feel how we want to feel? It's your feeling. Why should the outside always dictate your feelings? And why should your feelings always come from the outside? Why should your feelings always come from the outside? So why do we depend on somebody to make us feel all these feelings? Stimulation. It doesn't work that way. That's not what it's for. That's not what relationships are for. Maybe when it was 18 or 20. Seriously, maybe when it was 18, 20, we wanted all these feelings. Now, I'm 44 years old. I don't want all those feelings anymore. I already felt them. I saw them. I experienced them. Now, bring me reality. Bring me the truth. Because at this stage in our lives, we cannot keep doing what we did in our 20s. It doesn't work. Many of us depended on too much feelings and emotions to have healthy relationships. I'm telling you, it's like drugs. It's like drugs. You know, we take that first drug. We use that drug the first time, it give us a high. Now we're looking for the same high every single time. And then this is where we will let good people go. We will let good people pass us by. Quality people pass us by looking for a high that we had in our 20s. Somebody made me feel so special. This is your job to make you feel special. If the shit ain't working, move on. But if the shit is working and your feelings are not feeling good, then your feelings are off alignment. But yet we trust our feelings so much that we obey these shitty ass feelings that's being given to us by toxic stimulation. I feel. Listen, all these damn feelings out there, you choosing one that doesn't work for you. All these feelings out there, you choosing one that don't work for you. Listen, I'm telling you, if the shit makes sense, if the relationship makes sense, apply the proper feeling. You know what I do in the morning time when I wake up? I place my own feelings there. When I wake up in the morning, right? American Princess, when I wake up in the morning, you know what I do? My first thing, I put in my feelings that I want to feel. My feelings don't come from my spouse. They don't come from my kids. They come from me. Because if my feelings came from them, sometimes especially my kids. Ooh, woo! I would do stupid things. But I have to understand that my feelings is my responsibility in my life, in my relationships, in my work, in my business is my responsibility. When you depend on I'm telling you, a person who depends on their feelings oftentimes is being manipulated very easily. You could be easily manipulated. And this is why I only attract narcissists. I hate this because you are dependent on. Imagine if you can control your feelings and your thoughts. Would a narcissist get to you? Probably not. Will you attract narcissists? They will find you boring as hell. Seriously, imagine, thank you. Imagine, how do you apply your feelings? Good damn question. Now listen, let me tell you how you apply your own feelings. Number one, you have to understand that the outside experience is not needed for the feeling that you want to feel on the inside. Many of us are only reacting to something, right? We are only reacting to something. So our feelings is based on our reactions. If it's sunny outside, our feelings change to sunny. If it's raining outside, our feelings change to rainy. If somebody cuss you out, our feelings change to that cussed out. If your boss disrespected you, your feelings change towards. If you have something good to eat, your feelings change. So our feelings are only a reaction to the outside. You gotta cut that shit off. If your feelings are only reaction, then you're gonna always lose. Because the outside will never be your ideal. The outside world will never align to the way how you want it to go. Your relationships and everything else, nothing will go 100% how you want. So what you will have to do, you have to look and see how you see things. So when I wake up in the morning, I see what I want to see. I have to see what I want to see. I have to see it, I have to envision it, and then that vision is what brings me the feeling. Remember, it's what you are seeing and what you are thinking that brings you the feeling. So a lot of times you have to change your perspectives. You see, if you look at things one way, the feeling comes. Remember, when you look at something, the feeling comes. When you look at something, the feeling comes because your mind turns on. Your mind begins to judge it. The mind begins to, that narrator comes on. When you're looking at a person, think about it. When you're looking at a person, that narrator comes in. When something happened, that narrator comes on and tell you how to see it. And based on what the narrator in your mind, who you think is you, because you swear that is you, who's speaking silently, in your voice, when the narrator come on and you hear, cuss him out. Oh, he tried to disrespect you. He trying to do this shit to you. That's the narrator coming on. You have to change out the narrator and put a different narrator and use different words. And then the feelings is, you have to be intentional. This is how you choose your own feeling. Listen, if I know this woman is being good to me, she's a good quality woman. She may not look how I want her to look, or how society says that she should look. She may not, but if I realize that she's a good fit for my life, I will actually put my feelings and apply my own feelings to that woman. And therefore, they become my feelings. And sometimes for a feeling, you have to practice your feelings every day. See, many of us want people to bring those feelings instantly. See, many of us, we want to meet people and those feelings come instantly. So when you meet people, we say, well, I didn't feel any chemistry. That's the dumbest thing to do, is try to look for chemistry when you first see somebody. The most ignorant thing to do is trying to meet somebody and experience chemistry in the first moment, and then when it doesn't happen, you say, well, you're a good man, you're a good woman, you seem so kind, you have a nice smile, but I didn't have the chemistry. That is the dumbest thing that one could ever do, because chemistry is not what you think it is. Chemistry is not what we think it is. See, chemistry to you is a remembered feeling. To a lot of people, chemistry is a remembered feeling. Chemistry is when your energy within you is pulling that energy from another person. When the energy is aligned, when the frequency is aligned, when we are on similar frequencies, right? Whatever energy that's in me that's keeping me on the frequency, it notices it. It recognizes it. And when it recognizes it, it pulls it. Because again, feelings and emotions are magnetic. Okay? So it pulls that energy. When it pulls that energy, yours multiply within you. And you feel chemistry. Understand what you are doing. Compatibility is key. Facts. Understand how this works. Let me make you understand how this works. Everybody is carrying certain thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and programs within us, right? Everybody carries this thing within them. So now when you carry a certain level, when you're on a certain frequency, when you operate in a certain frequency, those who are in similar frequencies, who carry similar feelings, what happens? You are magnetizing your emotions. Your emotion now senses similar vibration in the next person. So as soon as your energy recognizes their energy, it begins to pull it. Once it begins to pull it, there's a chemical reaction happening. You call it chemistry, but you don't understand why or what type of chemistry it is. See, trauma and trauma makes chemistry too. Do you all know that? Trauma and trauma makes the best chemistry. An abuser and the abused makes perfect chemistry. Two people growing up in foster home who was abused make perfect chemistry. This is why chemistry, don't focus on it. I know. Listen, I know. The other dating people telling you all chemistry. If you don't have chemistry, but you all don't understand chemistry. It's familiar. Energy is familiar. This is why when you meet somebody, you don't have to feel anything. You don't have to feel or look for a feeling. You look for compatibility. You look for this person's life. Does this person's life make sense? You see, all through history, people will have their son and their daughter. Hey, come here. I give you my son. You give me your daughter. Let them get married. It was no chemistry. It was compatibility. Many of us are using the wrong things. This is why our relationships don't work. Think about it. In your life, look and see the men or women that you had chemistry with. How did it end? How long did it last? It probably lasts a bit. But how did it end? It ended even worse. Because the chemistry wore off. Because you start to see why the chemistry was there. You start to see how angry they were. You start to see how ridiculous the person was. You started to see that you just didn't make sense together. You started to see their true self. And you have to understand. You have to understand. Do not depend on chemistry that many of us are dependent on. We gotta stop being dependent on chemistry. When you first meet somebody, don't look for chemistry. That shit don't work. See, when I learned these things, I have to meet a woman and I had no feelings for. See, everybody want the instant. See, this is why we have a microwave generation. We want the instant. Instant oatmeal, instant this, instant heat, instant food, instant. We want instant feelings too. Instant feelings. We don't want to build feelings from scratch. No. We don't want to feel what I heard a woman said the other day. I know he's not good for me, but I want to be with him still. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. It makes sense. It makes sense to you. It makes sense to your trauma. And that's why it doesn't work. And then we blame men and women. We blame all men and all women, all black men, all black women, all this, all that, based on the stupidity that we choose. Just because we have feelings. We are blaming people. And you know what though? There's something about our intuition. There's something about our intuition. Our intuition be on it too, right? Our intuition be on it. Our intuition be on it too. No matter how you feel, that intuition throw a wrench in it. Nope. No. Cut that shit out. They end up with narcissistic partners. Yeah, I'm telling you, those feelings, man. Listen, those feelings. If I can listen, if you can't control how you feel, I would. If you can't control how you feel, they would. Just a total Burger King generation. Listen, I learned, man, when we begin to understand that these feelings is not even yours. These feelings are in your program. Let me tell you something, right? Dating is a lot deeper than what we think it is. Relationships are a lot deeper than what we think. And this healing is a lot deeper than what we think. You know why we keep meeting these people over and over and over? It's because we still have the same feelings over and over and over, looking for the same feeling. Let me tell you something. Once you're on a certain frequency, right? Once you are operating on a certain frequency, in a certain energy, all matter vibrates, okay? All matter vibrates. We are matter. On this physical plane, we are matter. Matter. All matter vibrates at a certain frequency, right? That's what frequency means. We vibrate on a certain frequency based on your thoughts, based on your emotions, based on your feelings, based on your belief system, based on what you eat, what you drink, what you do, you exercise, based on you standing still, based on you are vibrating on a certain frequency. In that certain frequency that you have your feelings, you have your thoughts, and you have your emotions. Those are same frequency. Those control what you do and your behavior, right? Those things is what keeps you on the same frequency. In that same frequency, what happens? Everything that comes to you has to maintain that same frequency that you're in. Everything that comes to you keeps you in the same frequency, same operation mode, same program. A matter of fact, if I bring something in my program that doesn't keep me on the same frequency, it has to go. Do we get it? If I bring a person, a pastor, a teacher, someone, some food that's not on that frequency, that's not keeping me on the same frequency, it has to go. Understand that, what we are doing. When we're looking for these things in people and relationships, and this is why we can't let people go. This is why it's so hard to let people go. Because that man that you have, somebody say, how do you let him go? That man that you have is keeping you on the same frequency. So when that man leaves, your frequency is ruined. You think that you need healing. It's just your frequency is looking for a signal. Hey, your frequency is looking. See, listen, everything that you have in your life, everything that you bring into your life, keep you in the same frequency, keep you in the same vibration. Do we get it so far? Everything that you have, your house, your car, your body, your makeup, your hair, keep you on the same frequency. If one day you leave your house and your hair wasn't fixed and your makeup wasn't done, your frequency changes. True or false? Do you understand me? The way you feel, the way how you, and then you keep looking, something is wrong, something is off. It's your frequency that's off. Understand what I'm saying? It's your frequency that's off. So you have to find something to replace it. You have to do what you gotta do to replace it. Many of us, that's what we do in relationships. That's why we can't leave people. That's why these men and these women have problems separating, because the frequency is changed. When the man leaves, your frequency is gone. When the man or the woman leaves, your frequency now is oh shoot, because that one thing, this is why the Bible speaks about, if a man has 100 sheep and he lost one, he will leave his 99 sheep and go find that one and bring him back to the fold. Understand, the frequency does the same thing. When your frequency drops because somebody is gone, you think something, I need healing, I need this. And no, it's just your frequency is looking back to that same place. It's bringing you back to the balance. It needs that same thing back to keep that same frequency. So now here you are, you gotta call them, you gotta text them, you gotta make them miss you, you gotta try this, try that. Why? Because you need to be from the same frequency. So when you text him and he texts back, your frequency feels, oh, he's still there. Oh, she's still there. The frequency is back. It's not because you need them, because obviously they ain't shit to you anyways. Obviously, they ain't been doing you right. Obviously, they ain't been respecting you. Obviously, they've been doing their own stuff. But, hey, the frequency feels familiar. It's a familiar frequency. Do you understand me? The frequency feels familiar. So now, when we come to dating, in relationships, the man or woman that we are attracted to, the man or woman that we want, that we desire, if that man is good and kind and loving, you say, that's... when you bring him into your life, you feel different. Oh, the frequency, no. It's not that you don't, see, it's not that you only attract one thing. You attract everything. But when something comes to your frequency and it feels weird, you can't take it. That frequency gotta be. We have to understand, man. We attract everyone. It's just one that makes our frequency feels good. I hear many people, oh, they are good. He's a good man. She's a good woman. But no, because your frequency don't feel the same around them. Sometimes we have to make our frequency uncomfortable. We gotta make our, we gotta be okay. We gotta be okay with having an all frequency, especially when we know something is. After a while, the frequency changes by itself. It gets used to the person or the thing. It gets used to it. Sometimes when we lose someone, your boyfriend, husband, wife, the frequency is messing with you. The same feeling is gone, that you're looking for something. And then guess what? After a while, it comes back natural.